There is nothing quite like getting out in the bush, wake up in the morning, birds are singing, sun's rising, mist is uprising, and the smell of coffee in the campfire is spectacular. I did a video a little while ago about camp coffee and reviewing different ways to make it. And from that, a few different people have contacted me and asked me, would you like to have a look at our bit of kit? And this is one of them. I've got a few of them coming. This is one of them. This is something from Geartron. This is a pour over coffee kit. A porter coffee, I think they call it. Port brew. So it's portable brewing. So it's a portable pour over coffee system. And it's teeny tiny. I've used it a few times. The coffee that it makes is pretty damn good. I'll show you what it's about. This is the case that it comes in now. Full disclosure, this is a Kickstarter. So I don't normally do Kickstarter stuff on any of my channels, but when they reached out to me and showed me this, I thought this is worth doing. If you're not familiar with Kickstarter things, it's a bit of crowdfunding to try and get this thing off the ground. How you feel about that is perfectly up to you. I'm not interested in talking about Kickstarter, I'm interested to talk about this bit of kit. So it's from Geartron, it's in a fairly hard, it's not a hard shell, but it's kind of like semi-soft hard. There's a bit of instructions in here, there's a quick reference guide in here as well, and it just shows you basically how to make the coffee. And it's not rocket science. If you're not familiar with pour over coffee, it is, how can I explain this? So my favourite way of brewing in the field is with the moka pot. I've done that many videos on a moka pot. The moka pot is a nice, strong, earthy sort of coffee. It tends to be a little bit dirty, if you like, and I don't mind that. I quite like it. Then you've got espresso coffee, and espresso is a bit cleaner than a moka pot. But it's also, brings out all the oils from the beans, and it gives you that nice crema. This is different again. A pour over coffee, this is very popular in the States. It's kind of like percolator coffee to an extent, but this is more of a, what would you call it, a routine, almost like a routine when you make a brew. It's just different. It gives you a much cleaner brew at the end of it. So it's going through a paper filter. So you're using coffee beans, you grind them up, grinder is in here, you boil the water up, you pour it over the beans that are in this paper filter, and it filters through into the brew, into the cup. So this is a complete solution minus the heat. Well, look, let's go through it and I'll show you what's in here. So it's in this bag. At the front here, it's a little bit grubby now because I've used it a few times, but there's 2 cups in this. So one cup is a regular cup. These are titanium cups. There's one. Next thing is the grinder. This is a rechargeable grinder. It's a little bit wet from cleaning. Rechargeable grinder. It'll do, they say, about 40 cups. The battery is up in the top here, so if you are flying somewhere and you want to take this with you, and the airlines don't like you putting batteries into your luggage, you can just take that off and carry that onto the plane with you, and that's the battery of it all. Now, put that back in like that. Underneath here, you can take the actual grinder off. It's got a locking and an unlocking part there. You pull it apart. This is just the motor and the battery. This part here, and this here is where you put the beans in, put it out to the grinding position, hit the start button on the motor, and it'll grind the beans down to this part here. Now, it is adjustable through the base there. You've got a grinding adjustment there, just like most portable grinders, like handheld grinders. So you can adjust it to a finer or a coarser setting. Now, for a pour over coffee, if you're not familiar with pour over coffees, I'll fill you in as we go. But if you are, sorry, you're going to have to bear with me. So when you grind beans for a pour over coffee, you want them to be coarser than what you do for an espresso, for example. So you want this to be almost like a sand, no, thicker than sand, more like a rock salt when you put it through your grinder, your rock salt grinder, more like that sort of consistency. I'll show you when we grind it. And the reason for that is if you grind it too fine, it just won't soak through. It'll just end up being a muddy mess, and you don't want that. So you don't want it to be as fine as espresso. Back through this kit here, this here is another cup, so there's 2 cups in this. This also doubles as your boiling pot, and on the side here you've got a temperature gauge. It'll go up to 100 degrees Celsius. on the front of this cup holder here, on the cup here is a little cap, and that cap, you actually put a, where are we? In this side here, there's a spout. And this here goes onto this here to pour over, and I'll show you that as we go. Then you've got a lid for that pot, and then you've got this part here, which is the actual funnel that holds the paper. So it takes two types of filters. It takes the V60 filters, like the cone sort of filters, and I'll pop that, so that part there will come out. That bottom part of the filter will come out, and the top part just goes up to the full cone. So you can take the full cone type filters, but if you've got the basket type filters, you just pop that side in. I haven't used a basket filter on here yet, but I've just used the V60 ones, the full V ones, and that would do there for a basket type filter. And the way you use this is you put it straight over the cup. I'll put it back down so you can see. So the filter holder just goes into the top there. Essentially what we're doing here is we're putting a paper filter into there, coffee grinds into there, pour the water over, and we make our brew that way. So what we need to do, you can boil water in this cup right here. I just haven't got anything that's going to boil it in that size. It's fairly narrow sort of base. So I just use a jet boil to do it. So I'll boil some water up. While we get that going, we'll grind up some beans. So I'll just go and fill this up and I'll be back. All right, my piezo fuse is not working on the jet boil anymore. I've been preparing to deal with the bees at the moment. So we'll start it up with that. That'll do. Now let's put that to the side while that's boiling, and we'll grind some beans. So we don't need to do anything with the top half of this. We want to open the bottom, and we're going to put our beans into here. Now, as a good starting point, this is adjustable like I said. As a good starting point, you would tighten this up, I'm going to say all the way, and then loosen it about 2.5 turns, and that's going to give you reasonably good coffee grinds, and I'll show you them in just a sec. So we're going to start with, I think, about 15 grams of coffee beans. Depending on how much of a coffee snob you are, you're going to actually weigh this out. Me personally, I kind of go, not just yet. I'm going to put what I think is about that. That's about right. Now from here, we're going to put this onto the, there we go, onto the grinder, and we're just going to push this button here twice. And it's now grinding. This is going to take some time. While that's boiling, this will take about as much time as what that does. Now it's hardly a quiet grinder. If you're at camp with many people, they're going to know about this. Because it's this type of grinder, I'd give it a bit of a shake. I found that helps with this. These types of grinders in general, that helps with, because the beans will not all sit there perfectly like you would expect on a bigger grinder. Let's give it a bit of a shake as it's doing that. But water is boiled now. I'll turn that off. And we'll finish waiting for this. While that's going, we'll prepare the rest. So this cup here, we're going to take off that little port, the little plug if you like, and we'll screw on the spout. It sounds like that there has finished. Give it a bit more of a shake, make sure it's all out. Yeah, that's good. Hit the button to stop it. All done. So with this here, we'll just put the spout onto the cup to make it a pot. Like I said, you can boil the water in this if you do have a small enough flame to do so, a small enough holder, because it is quite small. So this would be good sort of set up for any of the camping that I would do, as well as any like backpack camping and that sort of thing. All right, the spout's on that now. And we'll prepare the paper filter as well. I've got some here, yeah I do. So like I said, this is a V60 type filter. So it's perfectly like triangular at the corner here. We would open that up. Some people say wet the filters first. I'm not a huge fan of doing that. Something to note inside the filter holder here, there's like these grooves on the side here. Hopefully you can see that in there. And what that's for is to let air out as you're pushing the water down. So we'll put that inside there. We'll get the coffee grinds. And you can see here the sort of texture I'm talking about. It's kind of, it's a lot thicker, a lot coarser than espresso grinds, but not quite sort of gravelly. All right, we'll put this into here, and you might wonder why you're putting the water into this. It's really just to make sure you're at the right sort of temperature. On the side here, you've got this temperature gauge, and it's going to show you what the water is inside there. I have found with using this, add another about 5 degrees because, well, with doing it the way I'm doing it, if you're boiling it in here, the pot is already warm, so it's already working. Now it's a case of, we're going to pour this water in and cover the grinds. And that's it. And let that start dripping down. So you want water to be hitting all of this. This is, like I said before, this is nowhere near as simple as doing up like an instant coffee or doing something like this. It's more ritualistic about making a brew in the morning. The taste of the coffee out of something like this is significantly different, like I said before, than the mocha pot and other things. So while that's doing its last little bit there, it'll give it, this is something you don't rush, by the way. Also in the bag, all the things that I've already mentioned, but it's got this other little port here. At the back here, you can put those paper filters in there, like I said, and underneath here you've got a cleaner, and this little brush here will clean the grinder out if need be, and as well as a USB-C charging cable. Anyone who's got USB-C at home, and like, let's be honest, who doesn't, it's going to charge it up just fine. This is pretty well done now. You may be able to see that dripping there. It is nice and clean. It's almost like the colour of tea almost, like a strong tea. Anyway, that's done. Put that plug back in. And if you noticed on this other cup here, it's got like a spout around its lip. So here you might see the actual consistency of that brew. So the idea of this is that you would share it, that brew now. And like I said before, it's absolutely a good brew. It's very, very clean. It's pretty damn good. I don't actually know what these are going to cost over there if you're going to contribute to the Kickstarter campaign. I don't know what the end result is going to be worth either if you were going to go and buy one once the Kickstarter is done. The purpose of me showing you this is just to see how good it actually is, and it's not bad. It's I've probably used it, I'm going to say maybe 9 times, 8 or 9 times, and it's pretty good. It's just a different sort of coffee to what we would normally drink here in Australia. If you're a coffee snob, you've absolutely tried this sort of coffee before. And if you haven't tried it, even if you wouldn't get this sort of coffee kit, I would definitely try it because it's different to what you would normally drink. Like it's kind of like the smoothness, if you like, of an instant coffee, but the power behind it all of something like a mocha pot or espresso. Anyways, let me know if you'd use this sort of thing. I'm interested to know. I've got more coffee stuff coming up very shortly. I'm on a bit of a camp coffee kick at the moment. Anyway, see you next week.